So designing and having my own smoker built has been something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. So with that being said, let's get into it and let's show you all the good bits, all the bad bits, everything I like about it and what I would do to change it if I was to make one the same again. Let's go. Before we get into it, I just want to say a massive thanks to Goldee'S at Specialised Welding Southern Limited for helping make this happen. He's done an awesome job of this. It is exactly how I wanted it. So we did go a bit over the top with the dials, but that's because with this setup, with the Goldee'S 90 bend and the different to what they did on the other end with having a collector and not the 90, we wasn't 100% sure how it was going to run. We wanted to see what the temps were doing, and to be fair, it runs pretty consistently, and as you would expect, it runs hotter at the top and lower at the bottom. I'm only ever going to be doing low and slow on this. I'm never really going to be grilling anything hot and fast, so we haven't put a top shelf in. You've got 50 inches by 24 inches of cooking space. I did a cook for the guys that built this once it was done, and to be fair, we done chicken, we done sausages, we done ribs, chicken wings, and it all come out amazing. It was perfect. We did a belly of pork that come out really succulent and juicy. We put a bit of salt on the skin, crispened it off at the end by putting it nearer the inlet, and it came out amazing. Then I did a party for my next door neighbour. We did 3 briskets and a pork butt in this, and it absolutely came out amazing. To be fair, some people have actually said on social media, that's not going to work with that 90. It's just not going to get hot enough. You wait and see. Absolutely struggle with getting temps. And to be honest, no. It runs really well. There is a hot spot here. I did put a log when I was cooking my briskets and the pork butt. Right there, we haven't got a deflector. So Goldee'S with theirs, they've got a little bit of angle which diverts it up and down. We've not done that. We've yet to have a plate, so that's one of the things we're going to probably change. We're going to put some type of deflector or maybe a baffle plate there or something, just to stop that, you know, that area there being so hot, and maybe disperse it a bit more evenly. Not that it needs to be dispersed any more evenly. It does run very cool under the grates, but I'm not going to be cooking under there. The heat's rolling as it should, from up and down, going onto the meat and rolling around and then off and out. So the main thing I really would do differently if I was to make one of these again, I wouldn't have these casters. They're all right if you've got concrete or hard ground for it to be manoeuvred on. It's really easy. Don't get me wrong, this is like 450 to 500 kilograms in weight. It's 8mm steel all throughout, so it's really heavy. Those are great on concrete, but not on the ground. As you can see, I've had to put wood under there. It just sinks in. Not that I'm really looking to take this many places, but you never know. But in all fairness, I would put bigger wheels on the front with a turntable system, probably the same as these on the front, just for moving it around in the garden, because it really is awkward, and I must admit that. So we actually went with a solid bar. That doesn't bother me. To be fair, I would rather it was down a bit further. Maybe something I can change. It's not a problem. Basically, I love the patina. I really do love how it's come out. I had it shot blasted and I didn't realise it took it back to bare metal, and it was like very porous, like sandpaper. And if we didn't treat it very quickly, it would have rusted instantly, a bit like this. You can see there it started rusting. Not too worried about it. It's really thick still. I can give it a paint. We did cover it in oil, but the actual smoker itself, we covered in linseed, boiled linseed oil, heated it up, and I must admit, I'll do a video separately on all the details onto how we went about doing that, but it has actually come out really good. It's a nice patina look. Didn't want it to look brand new. It's just how I wanted it, and to be fair, over time it will keep changing in colour. So when it comes to the stack, it's 55 inches tall and 5mm in diameter. It works perfectly. A lot of people again said, well, that's too high, it's going to flow too quick. And it really doesn't. It actually flows quite nicely. I'll add a video to this, a bit of B-roll showing the fire I did, I'm sure I've got some footage somewhere where it literally, I just add in a couple of little splits. I mean, let me just get the wood. And I was just adding like a couple of these or one of these every 40 minutes, half hour, if not two, depending on how thin they were. And it absolutely ticks over really nicely. So I'm really happy with that. So we didn't go with any markings or anything like that for the damper. It's just pretty basic. I didn't want too many bells and whistles, although yes, I have got a lot of gauges. But to be honest, it leaves a mark where you've got it. You can see, I don't know whether you can see that on camera, but it's actually left marks where I've had it. So that was on the run most of the time, and I've shut it down a couple of times. So it's pretty much there and there I've been running on for the cooks. Again, absolutely happy with that. Really good. Loving this. I think this does flow a bit better. As in the Goldee'S one, they've got the 90 coming out. They do say that it can create just a little bit of a hot spot. Nothing major, but it's where it's kind of like hitting a brick wall and rolling around before it flows out. On this, it's just flowing straight out. This is wall to wall, right up against the edges. So Carl added this, literally said, do you want me to put something there for you to hang stuff on? I said, yeah, that's fine. To be honest, it's coming in quite handy to maneuver about. You know, it's fairly heavy, so this is kind of a bit of a two birds with one stone. I can hang my tools on it and I can also use it as a handle to maneuver. We are going to change the bolts on here. As I say, the lid itself is pretty heavy. It is a bit of a struggle one-handed. I have to give it a bit of an oomph, but again, it's fixed steel. This was an idea we got that we spotted Smokey Oak Barbecue, and also got to give them a shout out because they helped me out with pointers on this as well, with the casters and stuff like that. I actually noticed they added these to their smokers. Now what this does is, when you're doing a big cook and lots of proteins, you get all the fats dripping down, so it guides those fats in and down as opposed to running down, so you don't get that dirty greasy marks all the way down, which is also another good little thing to make a note of if you're going to make one. Little bar across there works wonders. Okay, so the Goldee'S idea of the 90, I did actually reach out to them. If you've seen any of my other videos, you will see that I have mentioned that before. They were like, whatever, just go for it, not fussed. But this is 6 inches in diameter. It's also a long reach 90, just so you know. This is 24 inches long by 19 inches in diameter. As I say, this works really, really well. When I was doing those briskets and that pork butt and it was getting hot and I had to add that, you know, that log there to block it, admittedly, thinking about it, I did have the fire further forward, so therefore the flames were shooting straight up. Where you've got this length, you can actually pull the fire back, and that might, well, it will reduce the hot spot. You know it's going to, it just makes sense, it's obvious. So yeah, I still need to have a play. I've got a wedding for my cousin coming up where we're going to do 6 briskets in this, hopefully, if they fit. I'll do a video on that. Really, really happy. Always wanted to design my own and build it, not build it literally myself. Obviously, as I say, Goldee'S, Specialised Welding did that for me, with me interfering, you know, can we change this, can we do that, which was awesome. And they really did put up with me being a bit, you know, fussy as it were. The back door, I could show you that actually, what we've done there. Let me just maneuver it around. We added this was Carl's idea, just a notch system, so you can basically adjust the airflow. And as Smokey Oak Barbecue have always said themselves, they don't agree with having like a damper on the door. You just use the door to control your airflow. It's pretty basic stuff. And there we go, inside the firebox, you can't really see, but you can kind of see what size splits. That's the ash from a 12-hour cook. So yeah, it runs really well, it really does. No bells and whistles, as I say, apart from the amount of gauges I've got on there. I am going to leave a blueprint at the end of this video, so if you do want to replicate this, go ahead. It burns really well, really, really, really efficient, but there is that hot spot there, which Goldee'S one has. You know, by having the 90, you do get to use a lot more cooking space. You know, if you had an offset if you had an offset firebox here with a massive gap, you're pretty much going to lose that much. So you've reduced it right down, and you could reduce it further. Just got to have a play with that, as I say. Let's just show you inside. When I was doing the briskets for my next door neighbours, I had the 3 briskets in here, and I had 1 brisket right up here, and I was a bit concerned about it getting, you know, dry and burning up a bit because of that flow going in. And it really was fine. It absolutely didn't burn whatsoever. I did manoeuvre them around a bit throughout the cook, only like once or twice, but yeah, really efficient, works really well. What can I say? So there you go. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything. Super happy. Have I said that enough? So that just about wraps it up. So go cook something exceptional, and I'll see you when I see you. Cheers.